the main thing I want to focus on is this central boat, given that's where people's eye is going to be drawn. So I'm adding noise modifiers to the oars so that they seem to be bobbing with the water, and adding a cloth simulation to the main sail on the boat. Using some shading tricks to have the sail be on fire. I'm taking the same noise texture and using it over and over again to find the burning edges. That's plugged into an emission. And also the dirt and the transparency. And this means I can now use just that single noise modifier to drive change over time, as if the sail is burning. I use some cheaper displacement tricks on the smaller sails, which may need redoing later, but it's just about holding up for now. And then back to mix mode to find some scared, dying, burning, floating soldier animations. I just scattered these around the scene, parenting them to the boat so that their feet would stick. Not sure how clear these will be in the final render, but I thought it was worth doing. Just adding a few more fire assets from Action VFX around the sails. And more statues. I feel like you can't have enough statues for something like this. And some procedurally generated dirt and grime and soot, just to break up the cleanliness of them. And then I wanted to make these market stalls that I could place all around the scene, and again just break up the repetitiveness of certain areas of the scene. And I wanted to do this in geometry nodes so that each one would be random and look different, so you weren't adding more repetition. Found these assets on Quixel, and I put them into bins, small things, big things. And on the floor I'm scattering small things, randomizing the rotation, the object offset, and adding rugs of different designs, again, different scale, different rotation, and larger objects off to the side using a random Boolean to assign whether these are stacked on the left or the right. I then made custom scattering planes for each different type of surface so that the objects inside the tent would sit on them rather than be floating off them. Then did a real quick cloth sim about 5 times to generate different ways that the tent cloth is being draped, and more random shader tricks using object info to create different colors, different transparencies, different levels of dirt and grime. And I think it, for what I need it for, to be far in the distance, I think it just about holds up. There are things intersecting and clipping through each other, but it doesn't really matter for a scene like this. They're going to hardly be visible. And more flags. Just want every part of the frame to be filled with some level of animation, some moving detail. More sculptures. Returning to the pseudo Pantheon and just improving the textures and some of the modeling. Slates on the roof. And super lazy frontage, just duplicating the same statue over and over again, putting it on the corners, putting it everywhere. I may need to return to that because it was extremely lazy even by my standards.